Morning folks, just thought I'd make a quick vid as usual. Early morning drive to work. I've been thinking over the last couple of days about why there's so many Remainers, and when you actually think about it, especially in government, they've spent all these years, right, promoting an agenda which they knew that people wouldn't want, the EU agenda, which is destruction of the nation state and the introduction of city and regional mayors, which means that your vote would no longer count. So they couldn't turn around and say, oh well, we're democratising the UK. You're no longer going to have a say in how it's run. There'll be one bloke at the top of your region who's going to be in charge of everything. And so they couldn't actually come out and say that. So now, of course, they've got with devolution of Scotland and Wales, which is all part of the plan. Nice little regions there, 2 little regions. They call themselves nations, but they're not. They're regions of the EU. And Cornwall and Brittany is another region, which is why we've got a unitary authority down here, which is basically just a privatised company. We've now got a Southwest Mayor as well, which virtually nobody voted for, because nobody gives a shit about this, because the media won't tell anybody what the implications of having a mayor are. I've seen nothing in the last 3 years about what a regional mayor, what his powers are and that, and they will be draconian. If a regional mayor wants to put troops on the streets, then eventually we'll have that power. It won't have that power to start with, but eventually they'll get more and more powers. So you'll have a centralised government, a small centralised government, who will then run these mayors, and the mayors will have ultimate authority over everything. A bit like London's mayor. He's pretty much can do whatever he likes virtually, unless the courts stop him. So they've created this nasty little insidious system, and then the people, the real people who live in the real world, you and me, voted, oh screw this, we don't want part of a communist dictatorship. And this is why they were all looking so worried, because the political classes, I hate using that term because it's the political elite. They think they're elite anyway, but they still shit the same as you and me. They all of a sudden they had no plan. Oh crap, nobody wants this, and we've been implementing it since 1972. Because the common market, which was what it was sold as in 1972, that's what it was called, the common market. And it was about trade across borders and that. But of course we had to give all our fishing over to the Europeans. We had to give all our aircraft building and car building. We had to be completely deindustrialised. They basically continued this agenda right through, which is why we've got a joke of an economy now, which if we do leave the EU is going to fuck us right up. They're going to try and make sure that we don't do deals with anybody else, so that it really does screw us up. When we leave the EU, they're going to try and make sure that we've got a massive bill to pay and no money to pay it with. But that's the vindictive kind of people they are, you see, because they're lefty communists who want control of everything. They can't even understand the concept of us wanting to leave the EU. So I just wanted to make that point, really, that it's the inept, spineless jellyfish that we got in Parliament that have created this problem, generations of them, who have just bent over and taken it up the backside from Brussels and from the banks, who are all basically ultimately controlling Brussels. And whoever's controlling the banks, who knows? But the whole point of having useless jellyfish in Parliament is they're easy to control, and they call themselves the elite, the parliamentary elite. There's nothing elite about them. They're just puppets. You know the old story about, they came for me and there was no one left to stand up for me. Well, the people in Parliament now are those shills, are those fifth column. They're traitors. They deliberately want to break up the United Kingdom as a nation state. Several thousand years of history. They won't succeed, of course, but they're trying their hardest, and it'll be interesting to see, because whatever happens in the US with Trump, because there's a battle going on there as well. Same battle. You've got a Trump who's a well-meaning idiot, I think, and then you've got two sides behind the scenes fighting it out, and who's ultimately going to win? I know who's going to ultimately win, and it's not the communist, lefty faction. It's going to be the good people of this world, the people who want to see right done, and and I think you've always got to have faith that good is going to overcome evil, and it will. It won't in Europe because it's too deeply entrenched, and it's written in the scriptures that Europe is going to sorry, I'm just trying to watch the traffic as well. Europe is extremely deeply entrenched in its own mire, its own cesspool, and in the scriptures it's written that the 10 countries of Europe, including Russia and that, will the 10 countries of Europe plus Russia, and that will eventually invade the Middle East, but we won't be part of it. Look it up. The merchants of Tarshish and all its young lions will stand up against this communist, authoritarian, centralised evil that has done its best to destroy this world, and is still trying. When you look at it, things like the World Wildlife Fund and World Wide Fund for Nature and UNICEF and Oxfam and all these are all NGOs. Most of them are financed by Soros or the UN and that, and all they are about is about controlling people or controlling areas of land. There's vast swathes of Africa now where you're likely to get shot if you go as an independent person. You're likely to get shot because the gamekeepers there, well, they're doing a good job of protecting elephants, but what they're there for as well is to stop the locals from moving onto the land. And that's what it's all about. It's about rewilding, it's about controlling the populations, reducing the world population. And but it's not going to succeed. The world's population, if it was evenly spread, wouldn't be a problem. And there's plenty of food on the planet to feed people. You know, that's not an issue. Global warming's a lie. If they didn't stop pissing about with the weather in the first place, you know, there's so much of the base data they refuse to release as far as global warming goes, because they know it's a lie. What you'll probably find is all this spraying of the skies that they've been doing since the 1940s. It's no secret. I mean, there's patents out on the equipment to do it and stuff. I mean, they've been doing it since the 1960s at the latest. They probably were doing it in the 50s as well. And I think that's created the rise in global temperatures. And it's to aid the rewilding, it's to aid the regrowth of plants. But then on the other hand, you've got capitalism, which is busy trying to chop all the trees down and sell them, and so they've created a massive mess. And even if they had an epiphany overnight, decided to start doing good, you know, it wouldn't happen, would it? It would. They've created such a complex mess that they're never going to be able to sort it out. They really have screwed things up. But we've got the hidden hand of God behind this now. Us, the Americans, all the young lions, who are basically the Commonwealth of countries, are going to stand up and be counted. And Jesus is coming. He's not very far away neither. So only a few years. So you need to get your ducks in a row, and you need to just make sure you're on the right side of the fence, because it's easy to get sucked into the wrong side. And there's a saying which is one of my favourites, which I think is quite a good saying, and it's a good one to live by, and it's that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You know, and if you let that sink in for a little bit, you know, you can do good things with that. But there's always a danger that you're going to start something and not finish it, and that's the road to hell. You know, say you're going to help somebody and then don't, or say you're going to do something and then don't. Anyway, I've got to go. So have a great day, and I'll speak to you all soon.